Hi, it's the college mom here, not to be confused with the mom that's in college, but the mom that has lots of kids, therefore has kids that have been in college, or are going to college. Today is my first video, so we're going to talk about what is a big topic for anyone in college, out of college, or going to college, which is financial aid. And we're going to start with the very basics, and that would be what financial aid consists of. Because even though it seems very basic, after talking to people, I realize that most people don't even know what that is. And up to about a year and a half ago, I didn't know what that was, even though I have all these kids that have been in college or in college. People started asking me questions about financial aid, and I was like, I have no idea. We just click accept and hope for the best. So then I started doing some research and realized that there's a lot to know, which would have been very helpful when my oldest was a freshman. Could have saved us a lot of money and time and effort. So I wrote 2 books on Amazon, and now I'm going to be doing videos because it seems like it's easier for people to watch a video. So we're going to look at it like it's a pie, because there are 4 pieces of the financial aid pie. And the first one is going to be grants. Grants are what is considered gift aid. Gift aid meaning money that is free, money that does not need to be repaid. The thing about grants are they need to be qualified for. So the student has to qualify for a grant. Usually this qualification is going to be based on financial need. And that's going to be the financial need of the family, being the parents or parent, and the student. So that's going to be determined by a FAFSA or a CSS profile, and it's going to be at different levels. There are different grants. The biggest grant is going to be the federal Pell Grant, and then different schools have their own grants. But either way, it's going to be based on financial need. There are a few other grants that are going to be based on something that the student agrees to do after they get out of college. So things like a TEACH grant, which a student agrees to teach in an underprivileged area when they graduate. And then there's a grant for that. Then there's other grants like a grant for students that had parents die in 9/11, those kind of grants. But regardless, every grant the student has to qualify for. Like I said, usually based on financial need. Then the second part of the pie is going to be scholarships, and scholarships are another awesome part of financial aid because they are also gift money, which is free money that does not need to be repaid. And there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of scholarships out there. Thing is, all these scholarships have to be awarded, so the student has to do something that is worthy of getting the scholarship, whether it be grades or something that they've done or something that puts them in competition with other students, and they are the ones that are going to be awarded the scholarship. So there's scholarships online, there's scholarships at the college level, there's state scholarships, local scholarships, all kinds of scholarships. But like I said, a lot of the scholarships, majority of students are going to have to apply for, which means they have to go above and beyond just going to school and doing their work. They have to actually apply. So getting them to apply can sometimes be a chore, because sometimes it can be a chore just to get them to study and clean their room. So yes, scholarships are an awesome way to get financial aid. The third is going to be loans, which loans are definitely not free money, and they're not gift money. They have to be repaid, obviously, and they have fees attached to them. The thing about loans is it will probably be the easiest loan anyone will ever get will be a student loan. Because as long as a student is a U.S. citizen and they are not a felon, they will get an unsubsidized federal Stafford loan. So when they say fill out the FAFSA and you will qualify for some financial aid, that is very true, because pretty much everyone is going to qualify for that federal Stafford unsubsidized loan, meaning they will qualify for financial aid. So just when you hear that, you can't think they're going to automatically qualify for 1 and 2, being grants and scholarships to free money. It could just mean they're going to qualify for an unsubsidized federal loan. But you never know. I mean, you should definitely fill out a FAFSA. The thing about loans, like I said, they're super easy to accept, and it's very easy to have them pile up. So my son was in college for 5 years because he's an engineer major, and he got a lot of scholarships and grants, and we would just go in literally and just hit accept until everything was covered. And we thought, well, there's all these grants and scholarships, so we're probably not taking out that much in loans. And yes, they do tell you in your little federal student aid report how much you're taking out. But, you know, you're thinking, oh, he's going to make all this money when he gets out of school. Who cares? Just click OK, take out the loan. Then he gets out of school, and who knew we had $35,000 in loans, which is actually the average amount of loans that students are getting out of school with. But they also don't tell you that they're going to get out of school and they're going to have to pay things like rent and car payments and insurance and all the things that they're really not that used to having to pay. And then on top of that, they've got a student loan. So be careful when it comes to loans and realize that that is part of financial aid when you're talking about, yes, you're going to qualify for financial aid. Then the next part is going to be work study, which to me is the most misunderstood part of financial aid because I didn't even understand it completely until this year when we were awarded work study. So on the FAFSA, there'll be a question that says, would you like to be considered for work study? For one, the student has to qualify, and that's going to be based on financial need, just like for a grant, because it's a federal program. And if they do qualify, then they have to go to the employment office at the school and they get a job, just like any other job. Just like if they didn't have work study, they have to go interview, fill an application, they get a job, and they're going to get a paycheck throughout the semester. They're not going to get money up front to help them pay for tuition and room and board and whatever they have. It's going to be a job just like any other job. The reason that work study is included in financial aid is because it's not counted against the student as assets and income on the FAFSA, which means it could make them more eligible for more grant money at the federal level because their income won't be as high. But since you fill out a FAFSA so far in advance now, really after your junior and senior year, when you're working those years, that's probably not going to be included in the student FAFSA anyway. So the work, getting that credit of work study really isn't going to make that much of a difference. And like I said, like this year, my daughter clicked on work study and then September rolls around, or actually August rolls around, and she had to pay room and board and tuition at the beginning of the semester because she lived on campus. She had a lot of money given to her and supposedly given to her in work study, or awarded to her in work study, but she didn't have a job. She still doesn't have a job. So she didn't have that money, and she wouldn't get that money unless she had gotten a job, and then she would get it throughout the semester, but they wanted their money then, not throughout the semester. So we had to go back and figure out how to get things paid for. But that is work study. So again, we're going to go through just to review. One is going to be grants, which is free money, but you have to qualify for, usually based on financial need. Two are going to be scholarships, but they have to be awarded, but it's an awesome way because it is more free money and gift aid. But you have to apply and you have to have done something worthy of being awarded, and they are competitive, usually are very competitive. And then there's loans, which are pretty easy to get, at least at a federal level when you're talking about a Stafford loan. And then there's Parent Plus loans, which are not really a plus, it's more plus debt. And then there are private loans. And then last, there is work study, which is pretty much just like a regular job. It's just not going to get included in assets on the FAFSA if a student qualifies. So, like I said, this is my first video, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up because I could really use some positive reinforcement here. I will be posting every Friday, and supposedly you can click on the little bell thing there too, and you'll get a notification when my next video goes up. But until then, thank you for watching. Bye.